Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. All right, so there we go. So, as we wait for more people, of course, well, first off, welcome to the Mikestand. It's, of course, hump day, middle of the week, where we get over the hump here. As we wait to see if more people show up, I'm going to give them a few minutes to get in here. I'm going to put on some music, go off camera for a moment to do a couple of things, and then when I come back, we'll talk about what's on tap for tonight. So, and get into it. So, without any further ado, let me go ahead and do all that. All right, so now we're back. So, as always, of course, if you can, help us out by liking and sharing the stream. See if we get some more friendly people in here to watch content. That'd be appreciated. Also, if if anything here we talk about grabbed your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the question best of my ability. With all that being said, why don't we go ahead and go over what's on tap for tonight? And we're now just over the 3 minute mark. So tonight, of course, we're going to go over three articles, two of them from Bounding into Comics, one from Bleeding Fool, including of course, Eric July announcing blacklisted Marvel Comics artist Joe Bennett as an artist on his upcoming Alpha Core series. It's also been announced that through Marvel is also making the announcement that during the X-Men Hellfire Gala 2023 event, they're going to resurrect the recently deceased Kamala Khan and confirm that she's both confirms that this Ms. Marvel is both inhuman and a mutant. And also, Avi Green will give us his take on the idea of a comic museum in Tampa at Tampa University and what he believes they should really focus on promoting. With that, of course, and we'll also have the wrestling wrap up and in this day and age history a little later on, with news coming from WWE, WCW, AEW, and NWA. With that, why don't we go ahead and not the 4.5 minute mark. I hope everybody's been having a good week thus far. Yes, we're about halfway through. Of course, don't forget this Friday. Of course, Tim Olson will be here as my co-host as we look back to, which we continue our look back to comics that went on sale in November of 1939, as we will be looking at a couple first issues from Fiction House publications, in which looking at Fight Comics Volume 1, Number 1, and Planet Comics Volume 1, Number 1. So with that, as we now are just over the 5 minute mark, why don't we go ahead and get started with the show here? Get started with the articles here. All right. So with that, oh, here we go. Let's get into this first article here. Alrighty then. So, Eric July and the Rippaverse announced blacklisted Marvel Comics artist Joe Bennett as artist on Alpha Core. Article by John F. Trent published yesterday, the 25th. So, shortly after surpassing the $2 million in sales for Item number 2, Eric July and Rippaverse Comics announced that blacklisted Marvel Comics artist Joe Bennett would be teaming up with Chuck Dixon for the upcoming Alpha Core book. I guess Dixon's doing the writing on that. Bennett will be doing the artwork. Bennett was blacklisted by Marvel Comics back in September 2021, with a Marvel spokesman informing Game Reader that Bennett would not, I guess they forgot to put in be working on, quote, any future Marvel projects, unquote, and that he had been relieved of his duties for the then upcoming Timeless number 1. Marvel's blacklisting of Bennett came after Immortal Hulk writer Al Ewing announced he would no longer be working with Bennett after a 2017 political cartoon supporting Brazilian politician former President Jair Bolsonaro, created by Bennett, began making the rounds on social media. Now, remember, Joe Bennett is from Brazil, mind you. So, Ewing made his announcement on Twitter, where he first described the political cartoon as reprehensible. He wrote, quote, "There's an image doing the rounds that Joe Bennett drew back in 2017. I won't link to it, but I have seen it, and it's reprehensible," unquote. After a number of tweets, Ewing declared, quote, "Immortal Hulk is done, but I won't be working with Joe again. If people choose not to pick up my work with other artists in the future on the basis of my handling of this, I understand and accept. If I've lost your trust, that's on me," unquote. In a video uploaded to the official Rippaverse channel, Bennett revealed he would be the artist working alongside Chuck Dixon for Alpha Core number 1. He said, quote, "Hello, my name is Joe Bennett. For 30 years, I've been making comics for big publishers in America. And now I joined Chuck Dixon, a genius writer, to develop a new comic book, Alpha Core, a new title with tons of adventures, a lot of action, and great artwork. I promise all of you," unquote. Bennett continued, quote, "All of this thanks to the brilliant initiative of the Rippaverse, the new publisher, that's changing the course of American comics. I'm proud of being a part of this initiative." So this, of course, this announcement is also coming off the heels of, if you guys remember yesterday, we went over article where Tony Isabella, the creator of Black Lightning, tried to get Young Rip, aka Eric July, canceled from San Diego Comic Con for hanging out with Comicsgate. So he concluded, quote, "Join us in this new era. I'm waiting for you," unquote. And we've been seeing that indie comics have been making a significant dent lately in the comic book market, as people have been getting fed up with one, a lot of the content that's being put out by the corporate comics, by DC and Marvel in particular, but to even lesser degree Image, and maybe Archie. People are getting tired of being preached to, so they're looking to manga. They're looking to independent comics to get their feed. Also, when you have comic pros taking such attitudes as, well, if you don't like my politics, don't buy my book. And then turning around and whining when somebody actually takes them up on their words. Anyway, Dixon also shared the announcement and a splash page of Bennett's artwork from Alpha Core number 1. There it is right there. He previously detailed that Alpha Core stars a team of superhero cops who patrol the skies and the streets of Forest Park in search of super creeps, weirdos, and villains. Boy, do they find them, unquote. Quote, it's full of action, unquote, Dixon continued. Quote, it's kind of a police procedural meets a superhero epic. Does sound kind of interesting. Not only will Bennett team up with Dixon for Alpha Core number 1, but the two also collaborated on an unannounced Rippaverse book. Speaking with Bounding into Comics, Dixon teased the series, quote, the second thing I did for, in brackets, Rippaverse, was kind of in the vigilante sort of Batman Punisher mode, but I sort of turned everything on its head in a way that Marvel and DC wouldn't allow you to do it, unquote. Mm-hmm. So now what they're doing is they're basically taking the idea, maybe not, they can't take the specific characters, but they're taking the original ideas of such characters as Batman and Punisher and doing their own thing with it. Obviously they're creating new characters in the same vein, as it were. But anyway, I do need to go off camera here for a quick moment. I'll be right back. I'll put some music on while I'm gone. I just had to make some slight adjustments to some shading I had in my room here. Anyways, so then he clarified, quote, but not in a R-rated way. I'm still writing comics for a precocious 10-year-old, unquote. What do you make of Joe Bennett joining the Rippaverse alongside Chuck Dixon? And again, I think it sounds pretty cool. Sorry, folks, gotta step away one more time here. Once again, to do not disturb sign on my phone. All right, with that done now maybe we can get back to these articles here. So we got through the first article there. Now we'll get ready to move on to the next one here. Here, the next article we're going to do here. And as always, of course, guys, if Anything here grabs your attention, feel free to comment and or ask questions. I'll try to answer the questions to the best of my ability. And if you haven't already, if you can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here. That'd be appreciated as well. So, anyways, on to this next article here.
Believing.
All right, so here we go with the next article here. X-Men Hellfire Gala 2023 resurrects the recently deceased Kamala Khan, confirms Ms. Marvel is both Inhuman and mutant. So, of course, they've been just over the last 2-3 years, they've been rebooting Kamala Khan, trying to make her, a character that everybody likes. Trying to push a diversity theme, Kamala Khan, the first Muslim superhero, what have you. Just hasn't worked out as well. Let's see. They recently had her, in the pages of Amazing Spider-Man at the end of the previous run. They essentially had her commit an act of self-sacrifice to save Peter and everybody, getting all like. And now they're gonna, of course, try to resurrect her once again in an attempt to make her likable. So, anyways, article by Nerdigans Inc. published yesterday. So, Marvel's preview for this year's annual X-Men Hellfire Gala has confirmed that Ms. Marvel will be resurrected as both an Inhuman and a mutant. And this is the scene I'm talking about from Amazing Spider-Man right here. Zeb Wells runs on it. And according to this, Zeb Wells proves he has no business writing Web Slinger in Amazing Spider-Man, Volume 6, number 26. So, quote, since Jonathan Hickman's revolutionary 2019 series House of X, mutant kind has thrived on the island nation of Krakoa, unquote, reads the official synopsis provided by Marvel. Quote, from terraforming Mars to discovering mutant resurrection, mutant kind has reshaped the Marvel universe as we know it, unquote. Quote, but while they were achieving greatness, their deadliest enemies have been plotting their ultimate downfall. And in X-Men Hellfire Gala 2023, number 1, they strike. Unquote, it continues. Quote, consisting of Nimrod, Omega Sentinel, Moira McTaggart, Fei Long, and other anti-mutant foes, this ruthless group of supervillains calls themselves Orcus, and their master plan could doom Krakoa and all its accomplishments, unquote. The synopsis concludes, quote, the catastrophic events of the Hellfire Gala will send your favorite characters away from the safety of Krakoa and into a dark new age known as Fall of X, unquote. Do 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 do. Kamala Khan's Hellfire Gala mutant debut was initially revealed as part of Marvel's official press release for Iman Vellani's Ms. Marvel, the New Mutant Run. Quote, after Kamala's heroic sacrifice that saved the world in Amazing Spider-Man, Kamala will be brought back thanks to the miracle of mutant resurrection. In X-Men Hellfire Gala 2023, number 1, unquote, Marvel reveals. Written by Jerry Dugan, Barry Duggan, and featuring art by Chris Anka, Joshua Casada, Russell Dowderman, Adam Kubert, Pepe Larraz, R.B. Silva, and Luciano Vecchio. The preview for X-Men Hellfire Gala 2023, Volume 1, Issue 1, reveals that the young heroine will be resurrected as a mutant from a Krakoan egg on the mutant paradise of Krakoa. According to canon, established in House of X 2019, Krakoa's resurrection protocols allow mutants who have faced a premature death to, quote, respawn in the middle of battle, revived long dead X-Men, and helped restore the decimated mutant population, unquote. Through the power of the Five, Gold Balls, Fabio Medina, Proteus, Kevin McTaggart, Elixir, Joshua Foley, Tempest, Ava Bell, and Hope Summers. Quote, this process starts with Egg, who has the mutant power to generate gold balls of biological matter. Oh boy. Oh boy. Okay. Gold balls. Okay. Marvel explains. Quote, after the spears are injected with a genetic sample from Mr. Senator's gene catalog, Proteus uses his reality warping powers to turn these elements into a viable body, unquote. They elaborate, quote, with his Omega level healing ability, Elixir essentially breathes life into the husk by kickstarting the process of cellular replication. Tempest then uses her time manipulating powers to age the bodies. Throughout the process, Hope Summers uses her powers to amplify and synchronize the abilities of the rest of the Five. It's an interesting combined effort, I guess. Anyway, getting back to this. In X-Men Hellfire Gala 2023, Ms. Marvel is revealed to have been resurrected through the same resurrection protocols of Krakoa. The first issue takes us back to some weeks prior to Ms. Marvel's contrived death in Amazing Spider-Man number 26, which sees Emma Frost and Scott Summers debating whether they should make Kamala aware of her mutant heritage. Wow, they're like sitting in the middle of the air. Interesting. The following page sees Charles Xavier welcoming the newly resurrected mutant to Krakoa, where Hope Summers clarifies to the confused Ms. Marvel, quote, you're an inhuman and a mutant, unquote, though admitting, quote, we didn't think it was possible, unquote. Goldballs, who has since adopted the egg alien. So I guess Goldballs was originally the guy's name, I guess, or the person's name. But that's kind of funny. Well, I could imagine though, because calling himself Goldballs, I could just see a lot of the ridicule he'd get from that one. Alias interjected, explaining to Kamala, quote, "Your resurrection was rushed to the top of the list," unquote, and adding, quote, "You've got some friends in high places," unquote. This falls in line with the comments made by Miss Marvel actress Iman Vellani, recently revealed to be co-writing the upcoming Ms. Marvel: The New Mutant comic book series, who went on record saying that the new book will not retcon Kamala's Inhuman origins. There's Iman Vellani right there. Quote, "This was way scarier than joining the MCU for me," unquote, said Vellani. Quote, "Those projects feel like they live in their own dimension. So I guess I can separate myself easier. But you can hold a comic book," unquote. She continued, "I've never written anything before in my entire life, but I have read many comics. Um, so I just wrote what I would want to read. I was given a very professional tool to write what is essentially my own fan fiction," unquote. Yeah, just because you'll write what you would want to read doesn't necessarily mean that everybody else will necessarily want to read it though. That's the risk you run there. Especially if you try to push narratives. Quote, "I want to make it very, very clear that we are not," I think if I put the T in there, reconning or retconning her Inhuman origin, unquote, Ms. Marvel actress claimed. Quote, "That's a part of Kamala's identity. That Marvel editorial and myself, oh wait, that's a part of Kamala's identity that Marvel editorial and myself would very much like to keep and protect." Vellani explains, quote, "Our book will absolutely reflect those core themes of identity that the Ms. Marvel comics have consistently explored, and only now there's a whole new label that Kamala has to learn to accept. It's going to be pretty scary," unquote. And likelihood, if that's the case, if you're pushing identity politics again, you're gonna find that you're probably not gonna sell as many books as you think you will. It's been in the past. Every time you try to push identity politics in people's faces, they've just soured on it. Anyways, as we continue on here. All right, so finish. X-Men Hellfire Gala 2023 #1 goes on sale on July 26th, which of course is today. All right, then. So that's it from Bounding into Comics. Now let's get ready to head over to Bleeding Fool. do that one probably tomorrow. But so this is going to be the last article we're going to do for tonight here. All right, so we're doing pretty good here on Time AX30. All right, so Comics Museum should focus on better stories than The Death of Superman. Article by Avi Green published earlier today. Fox 13 announced there's a comic exhibition at the Tampa University. So I guess this is from the Fox 13 report. Now that was Avi. Now this is from the Fox 13 report. The comic book as an art form inspired this exhibit, and thanks to some private collectors and generous donations of materials, the exhibit, quote, Zooming Superheroes, unquote, was put together. Quote, I hope that this reignites people's love of the physical comic book, unquote, shared gallery director Jocelyn Boygazon. Quote, looking to the physical, I want people to get back to that, unquote. Now, Avi, in response to it, so do I, but it's not so simple. And besides, if they really wanted to convince them, why did they cite the following overrated storyline? This is back to the article now. Quote, you actually get to look at the physical pieces, unquote, said Boyganzon. Quote, we want you to be able, literally, to walk up to Death of Superman from 1993, open the case, and actually look at the story. But who knows? Okay, so this is Avi now talking. But who knows if anybody will acknowledge how overrated it was, what artistic damage resulted from it. Like the storyline where the Toy Man murdered Cat Grant's son, Adam, and how it served as a lead-in to the considerably worse Emerald Twilight event in 1994, which saw Silver Age Green Lantern Hal Jordan forced into the role of a murderer of GL Corps members, all for the sake of replacing him with Kyle Rayner, who wasn't given any more of a personality than Hal. And worse, Kyle even had his first girlfriend, Alexandra DeWitt, stuffed in a fridge by Major Force. Oh boy, some interesting stuff here. Will this be given any objective viewpoint at the exhibition either? Probably not. I'd love it if people's appreciation of the art form were revived for real. But a story like The Death of Superman is not the way to do it. And Emerald Twilight definitely wouldn't be a good way either. A really great way would have been Superman and Lois Lane's 1996 marriage, along with other notable marriages from decades past, like Mr. Fantastic and Invisible Girls in the late 1960s, also Spider-Man and Mary Jane Watson's in 1987. That they put an emphasis and citation on a tale involving something more sad like death, subsequent resurrection of Superman notwithstanding, speaks volumes what's wrong with the whole focus and approach of this part of the exhibition at the Florida-based university. Wow. I figured with Avi that would have been a longer article than it was. But as That took me a little bit by surprise there. I thought that knowing Avi, he would have said a little bit more than that. Hmm. Well, let's see. Yeah, maybe we'll try one more, at least one more story in here. Again, I'm gonna save the any kind of showcase for tomorrow night. And I think I did see something here earlier when I was checking through that kind of, yeah, this story right here from earlier today. Now, again, this one might go quickly too, but let's just wait and see. Hey, JR. Let's see. Oh, missed start. What's the article about GL? Well, that previous article was basically, so Avi was talking about how this particular comic museum or exhibit set up by Tampa University to try to reignite people's interest in comic books as an art form. They decided to focus the stories they decided to focus on were the Death of Superman story arc in DC Comics, as well as Emerald Twilight. And he felt that those were the wrong stories to focus on if you're trying to the reignite interest in comic books as a form of art. He thought maybe they should have focused more on like stories surrounding like marriages, like Superman's marriage to Lois Lane, Peter and Mary Jane's and Spider Man, and of course, Reed Richards and Sue Storm in Fantastic Four. All right. So, anyways, now we're going to go into this article here. I figured we, needed one more here. Even if this one's short, we should get at least up to the 40-minute mark here with it. All right, Squidbillies and other Adult Swim favorites being removed from Max. Article by John Pallister published earlier today. So, Max, and I'm guessing this is HBO Max, by the way. Max has revealed their new slate of releases coming to the streaming service next month, and unfortunately also announced that a favorite Cartoon Network series and an Adult Swim series will be removed from the streaming service before August comes to an end. As part of HBO Max's transformation into the Max streaming service, there has been a huge change in the library as tons of new shows have since been made available for streaming. But as fans of some animated series have unfortunately discovered, this also meant that some Adult Swim and Cartoon Network shows did not make the jump. So I think in order to push newer stuff, older stuff is just getting kind of tossed aside. I think is what he's saying there. And of course, if you haven't already, if you guys can like and share the stream, see if we can get some more friendly people in here, that'd be appreciated. Also, was Ethan Van Sciver involved with those GL stories? I don't know. The story that he was, of course, talking about were the Emerald Twilight stories. I don't know if Ethan was actually involved in that or not, but guess I could try to look that up real quick. Let's see what. No, according to this, it looks like Ron Mars was the creator of the story here. Yeah, from based on what I just saw here, Jr. I think Ron Mars was the guy who created the Emerald Twilight storyline. I'll like stream if you make me a moderator. Yeah, well, I mean, you have been a pretty regular guy. I just you've been coming here for a while, so what the heck? Yeah, I guess I can. Hmm. All right, Jr. I'm giving you a chance as a moderator, so you should see it the next time you comment that you now have a wrench. So I figured, you've been coming pretty regularly for a while, so you know maybe it's time. Just don't abuse you. Just don't abuse it. You know. Hmm. Anyways, only as much as I choose to let you have. Don't abuse it. Anyways, getting back to the article here. So Max has announced the new slate of series and movies coming to the streaming service this August, and also announced the titles that will be leaving the service by the end of the month. It has thus been revealed that August 31st will be the last day that Cartoon Network fans will be able to stream Over the Garden Wall, and Adult Swim fans will be able to stream Squidbillies on the streaming service. It is subject to change before August end, but interested fans better tune in fast before they're gone. All right, so there we go with that one. All right, so and again, if you haven't yet, if you can like and share the stream, see if we can help get some more friendly people in here, that'd be appreciated. Um, anyways, with that now we're gonna start to wind down here. We're gonna of course do some wrestling wrap up here. With a couple of interesting news stories that have been announced earlier. I guess announced earlier today. First off, Hulk Hogan and his girlfriend of 1 year, Sky Daly, a yoga instructor, announced that they were engaged back on the 16th. Um, okay, now I'll cheerfully like. All right, well, thank you. I do appreciate the like and the share. Um, so, anyways, as I was saying, Hulk Hogan. So, congratulations to Hulk Hogan and his fiance now, Sky Daly, on their engagement announcement. Also, in other news from WWE, WCW news, former WWE and WCW star Buff Bagwell was recently arrested for DUI in Cobb County, Georgia. He had been recently working on sobriety, getting some help from Diamond Dallas Page, who's of course been helping a number of other former wrestling stars, including Jake Roberts, the late Scott Hall, among others, to try to get through those demons. So a bit of a step back for him, unfortunately, but so with that, so with that, let's see. Now some more news coming out of AEW, of course. Tonight's Dynamite, the main event features a three-way tag team match between the tag team of Best Friends, Trent Beretta, Chuck Taylor, the Lucha Brothers, the recently dethroned Ring of Honor World Tag Team Champions as they lost a four-way match, and the Blackpool Combat Club members, Ring of Honor World Champion Claudio Castagnoli and Jon Moxley. Taya Valkyrie takes on Dr. Britt Baker. Swerve Strickland takes on Darby Allin in a grudge match between two guys originally out of the Pacific Northwest area. Pac takes on Gravity. Orange Cassidy defends the international title against AR Fox, and that's all that's going to be on AEW tonight. And then on last night's Power episode from the NWA National Wrestling Alliance, main event saw Kerry Morton retain the World Junior Heavyweight Championship over Matt Vine. You also had Knox and Murdoch defeated Parity. One half of Blunt Force Trauma, Carnage defeated Blake Troop. Or not Blake Troop. No, I'm sorry, not Blake. Jax Dane via countout. Blake Troop won via referee stoppage on Mims, as the NWA, of course, is working its way towards the 75th anniversary show at the Chase Park Plaza Hotel at the end of August, the weekend of August 26th, 27th, in which already announced for that event, Tyrus will be defending the NWA World Heavyweight Championship against EC3, who recently relinquished the national heavyweight title after getting his seventh successful title defense in their Lucky 7 rule. Camille will be defending the World Women's Championship against Natalia Markova. Kerry Morton will be defending the World Junior Heavyweight title against Colby Corino. Those are the matches thus far announced for the 75th anniversary show of the NWA. It started all the way back in 1948 there. So, let me see. Anything else? No, I think we covered all that. So now, with that being said, let's wind things down with looking back at this day in each history. Today being Wednesday, July 26th. Let's take a look back at this day in each history. 1943, 98, and 93. All right. So, anyways, we look back on this day in each history. First off, we head back 80 years ago today. As on this date, 80 years ago today, the 55th issue of Jumbo Comics, which at times sold for 10 cents, was 56 pages. The 55th issue of Jumbo Comics as well as the 45th issue of Jungle Comics, also selling for 10 cents, was 56 pages. Both of these books went on sale on this date back in 1943, 80 years ago today, as they went on sale 80 years ago today. Jumbo Comics Volume 1, number 55, Jungle Comics Volume 1 of 45. Both of them went on sale on this date 80 years ago today. With that, moving on to the next piece of niche history. We move ahead to 1993 as I would like to actually wish a happy birthday to actress and voice actress Elizabeth Gillies. Known probably for a role on Nickelodeon's Victorious as Jade West, also as Fallon Carrington on the CW revival of Dynasty. She also in terms of from the animated world is known as the voice of Daphne from Winx Club. So going down to her filmography here. She was the voice of Daphne in the Winx Club for the 24 episodes in 2011. So happy 30th birthday to Elizabeth Gillies, the voice of Daphne from Winx Club. So now with that, now we're moving on to the final piece of niche history today. As on this date, 25 years ago today, WWE held its 23rd In Your House event, fully loaded, from the Salem Arena in Fresno, California. Let's see. The main event saw the Brothers of Destruction, Undertaker. I'm sorry, not the Brothers of Destruction. The main event saw the Undertaker and Stone Cold Steve Austin defeat Kane and Mankind for the WWF World Tag Team Championship. You also saw Jacqueline defeat Sable in a bikini contest. The Rock fought Triple H to a time limit draw in a best 2 out of 3 falls match for the Intercontinental Championship, where The Rock pinned Triple H after Rock bottom for the first fall. Triple H pinned The Rock in the second fall after Chyna hit Rock with a DDT, interfering in the match. Owen Hart defeated Ken Shamrock in a dungeon match with Dan Severn as the special guest referee. The Disciples of Apocalypse, 8-Ball and Skull, defeated LOD 2000, Hawk and Animal. Paul Ellering in the corner of the Disciples of Apocalypse. Let's see. And that's pretty much it right there. So on this date, 25 years ago today, we held its fully loaded In Your House pay-per-view. So with that, I thank everybody for being here. I hope everybody enjoyed the show. Tomorrow night we'll be back with more niche news. Tomorrow night we'll probably be going over Indie Comic Showcase from Bleeding Cool. I hope you guys will be back here for that. And of course, Friday, Tim Olson will be my co-host, because we will be looking back to November 1939, looking at books that went on sale on that date from Fiction House. We'll be looking at the first issues of Fight Comics and Planet Comics. So with that, I thank everybody for being here, and I hope to see y'all tomorrow. Bye.